Hey y'all, so I'm about to do a retie of my Microlocs. This is what we looking like, and it's been 2 months since my last retie. As you can see, my roots ain't lying about it. I got a lot of hair to retie here. This is what most of my locks look like. I can just stick my finger at the root and I got a pretty good gap. That's another way also how I know where my last retie ended, because I got that split right there. I'm probably about to be in the bathroom retying my hair for the next like 3 or 4 days, but who's counting really? As always, I like to give you guys a realistic expectation of what my hair is looking like before I even get into this process. Now, again, this is what my edges are looking like and everything. I have not retied my hair in 2 long months, but I got the back and we gonna get to it. Now, first thing I like to do is give my hair a little spray. I like to part, do my clips and everything, and I like to secure the hair to a certain extent, maybe mid-shaft, and then I start interlocking, y'all. I do a 3-point rotation. I've been doing this for most of my Microloc journey. Started off with a 2-point and decided that 3-point rotation was my jam, so that's what I'm doing. And it's real simple, real easy, but this whole thing is repetitive and it takes a very long time. I'm not even gonna lie to you, if you don't have a lot of patience, I'm gonna need you either to find some or find you a loctician, because this does take a long time. I'm talking days if you are DIYing your interlocking yourself. Not saying you're gonna be interlocking your hair for days straight, but you may be off and on interlocking your hair for like 2 to 3 days, and that also depends on how fast you are, and it may also depend on how much experience you have, because I got faster over the course of my lock journey, but y'all, it is definitely something that ate for the week. Now, since I'm already interlocking my hair, I'm gonna go ahead and go over the rotation again for you guys. I have other videos up, but we doing it in real time right now, so let's go over it again. So I like to go in the terms of northeast, southwest. So I'm going in here east, I go up north, go east again, and then I end south, and that's downward, and I just repeat it. Now, how many times I repeat this process is really dependent on how much new growth I have, y'all. I do it until I don't have any more loose hair at the root. That is the whole point of interlocking my hair. I'm going to repeat the process here again. I take my hair. I like to secure those loose hairs that's right at the root, because it's going to help keep that lock strong. And I'm just twisting that hair in so when I interlock it, it's secure. And then I go east, then I go north, I'm going to go back east, little struggle bus there, and south, and I repeat it over and over until I am done interlocking the lock and it's no longer loose at the base. You definitely do not want to do this too tight, y'all, because your head gonna be on fire and you don't want that. You're gonna get a headache, and you can also tell if you're doing it too tight after you're done interlocking. If you get those little white bulbs sticking out your head right at the root, that's a good indication that you might have interlocked your hair a little too tight for what your hair can handle. Try not to do that, y'all. You want it to be tight, but you don't want it to be like pulling your scalp tight. If you do this, don't feel bad. It is definitely a learning experience. I've definitely interlocked some of my Microlocs way too dang tight, and I should have known better, but I wanted to get that last rotation in, and my head was on fire after, and I just had to learn to stop doing that stuff. After interlocking my hair so many times, now I think I'm accurately able to gauge how many rotations I really am able to get in without doing it too tight. It's kind of something you have to figure out with experience, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. One of the most helpful things for me to figure out if I'm even able to get that last rotation in is something that you're already using during this process, y'all, and it is your interlocking tool. I like to stick it into my root just to kind of see how much wiggle room do I have, and from there I can kind of gauge, am I able to get a full rotation in, and that's going to include the whole thing, east, north, east, south. If I'm not confident I can do all of the rotation, I'm probably not going for it, because I like to make sure to end south. If you end up doing it and say you don't have enough wiggle room and your lock is getting too tight and you've done east, north, you get to east again, but you didn't end south, now you did not complete the full rotation. And when you go back in, say 2 months later, you may or may not remember on that specific lock that you ended on east, and you're going to start east, and that's how you can create a hole in your lock. I get that question a lot, and that's how I avoid it. Now, I want to be 100% transparent with y'all. I have not yet found any holes in my locks as of yet. However, I did DIY my whole lock journey from the jump, from install to now. Nobody else has touched my head, so there is a high probability that I may have a hole in my head somewhere in some of my locks. But if this does happen to you, don't get discouraged. It can be fixed. It's something that I think happens a lot more with DIYers. It just kind of comes with the territory because you can't see your head. We just doing the best we can out here, and I know how it is. However, you want to try to end all of your rotations at the same direction. I believe with the consistency, that is a better way to avoid any holes in your lock because you aren't entering the same direction that you previously ended at your last interlocking session. A few more other common mistakes you want to try to avoid during this interlocking process is excessive tension. Now, we kind of covered excessive interlocking so you don't interlock too tight, but you want to also make sure you're being gentle when you are doing your interlocking process. You don't want to pull too much at your root because it can cause discomfort and also potentially lead to damage in your hair. Another thing you want to try to avoid is neglecting moisture. Don't forget to keep your hair moisturized, y'all. Neglecting moisture can lead to dryness and breakage while you're interlocking. You do not have to drench your hair down while you're interlocking your hair. Just give it a little spritz. Just give it a little mist or a little spray or something. When the hair is dry and you are trying to interlock it, you're doing not just a little bit, you're doing a lot of manipulation to your whole head, and you can cause a lot of breakage because your hair is dry. Just give it a little something to work with so it has a little bit more glide to it while you're interlocking your hair, because there is a lot of friction in this process. Your hair is being pulled essentially at your root through a little hole, and you're repeating the process repetitively. To think that that's not going to give a little bit of breakage over time if your hair is bone dry might be something we at least want to consider giving our hair a little bit of spray. And you don't have to use anything fancy, y'all. You can get you a water bottle or a water mister and just put some distilled water in there and give your hair a mist, and that is enough. But for me, I also like to use rose water. I really feel like if you know, you know, because I love me some rose water, and I know a lot of people who have locks love them some rose water too. I'm gonna link it down below if you're interested in buying it. There is one with glycerin in it. That one can give you a little stickiness. I don't know if you want that depending on where you are in your lock journey, but for me, the regular rose water, absolutely love it. Love the fragrance, and I love the way it makes my Microlocs feel. And on the distilled water thing, you can get a big old jug of it from the store for like $1, and it'll last you a long time if you're just using it as a mister. You don't have to have nothing fancy, y'all. I personally like to use distilled water in my hair rather than tap water. Even though I have a filter system, I just like to use the distilled water because I don't want to have any hard residue in my hair. And sometimes, you know, when you use tap water, even in the shower, if you don't have a filtration system and things of that sort, it can lead to some breakage or some dryness in your hair because the water may not be as filtered as a distilled water would be, which is why I just go to the store and get that. Another thing I think is very helpful, but probably a given at this point, is you want to try to make sure that you are not skipping the sectioning, because this can make the process more challenging. When you're just going in willy-nilly, you don't have no sort of organization, it can take a lot longer to do your hair. I also feel like organizing and sectioning your Microlocs as you're doing the process will help you feel like you're not doing as much, because I feel like when you're not so organized, it can be very overwhelming, and it's already a long process, but I feel like if you're taking it a section at a time, I feel like you're able to break it down to where it's like, okay, I'm doing this section and I just got to get through this row, and then I'm doing the next row and I just need to finish, and then I'm doing the next, and you're just repeating that instead of feeling like, dang, I'm not getting anywhere. Just take it a section at a time, y'all, because if you start looking at your whole head, you might not even do your head, because there's been times where, you know, I haven't been as organized, and then I felt so overwhelmed doing my Microlocs, and all it is for me is I need the sectioning so I can see the end of the road. I just got to be able to see it through a row at a time, literally. And that also speaks into like how you're able to keep coming back after day 1 or day 2 of interlocking your hair. It's because you are organized and you're able to see the end of the road, and you just do what you can that day, and then you take it a day at a time. With anything in life, if you have a plan, you're organized, and you're able to execute that plan, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time if you're able to actually see it through. So that's how I look at doing my Microlocs, because when you're so overwhelmed with 200 something locks, 300 something locks, and you're like, dang, I gotta do all this myself, you gotta be able to see the end of the road and see the bigger picture. You are saving money and you're able to do your hair yourself whenever you feel like doing it. Some of us have trust issues. I'm one of them people. So if you trust yourself to do your hair, you just gotta know that it's gonna take you some time to do. The end result to me is always so satisfying, and I always feel so accomplished whenever I am finished and I feel like I could just conquer the world. I am also interested to know, y'all, have y'all seen the Loc comb? It's a comb that people have been using for their Microlocs or their locks. It's like a wooden comb, and y'all, I got me one today. I got it. I haven't used it yet because I want to record the video and share my initial thoughts with you guys when I first open up the packaging, but I gotta finish my hair first. So I'm gonna have a video soon showing this wooden Microloc or Loc comb, trying to see, does it work? I just want to know, have any of y'all had experience with this comb yet? Y'all stay tuned for that video also. Another thing that randomly came to my mind that I think I should discuss is, how do I keep track of exactly what rotation I'm on? Because doing this process, like I said, is very repetitive, and you may forget, were you on north, were you on east, or were you on south? What I like to do is count. So when I do east, I like to say 1. Then when I'm doing north, I like to say 2. Then when I'm on east again, I like to say 3. And then when I'm on south, that's 4. I be counting in my head or either out loud the whole time when I'm doing my interlocking, because otherwise I may forget what direction I'm at. And during the 3-point rotation, again, you do east, north, east, south. So if I just so happen to be on east, I may not remember, did I even start with the first rotation, like 1? So if I say 3 to myself, I know that I already did east once, I did north, because that would be 2, I did east again, which is 3, and then I know then I need to go south, which is 4. If I just am like not keeping track, I will forget, because I do forget even if I started a rotation sometimes, because I'm just doing it so long and it's such a repetitive process. So that's just something I've learned to do, is just count. It may sound very complicated, but I promise you this is so easy to remember. I'm going to show you on this very next lock here, once I'm finished up doing this lock, what exactly I mean. Honestly, this will probably be one of my biggest tips because it is so easy to mess up where you are, and that's how you create the holes. So again, we're going to go through here, part the hair, as I always do. I get my comb, try to get it a little crisp, but it really don't matter. It's good enough. And I'm go ahead, twist the hair, twist it. All right, y'all, class is in session. So this will be 1, that's east, 2 is north, 3 is east, 4 is south. 1, again, would have been east, but I didn't need to retie that lock again. It would have been too tight. So you saw how I put the needle in, and then I didn't do it because I knew it would have been too tight. So now it's time to move on to the next lock. So everything that I'm telling you guys I do is really what I do. You see it in real time. Twist the hair. I'm going to go ahead and secure the other hair so I don't interlock the wrong stuff into that lock. And 1 again, east, 2, north, east again, 3, 4 is south. Repeating, 1, 2, 3. Little struggle bus here. Stick with me. 4, and that is that. Now I am done. I was like, can't get another rotation in, and then I move on, y'all. It's really that simple. It's nothing to be scared of, y'all. If I can do it, so can you. I like to show these type of videos because I find them very encouraging to people who would like to do their own hair or have an interest in trying something new and they just don't know where to start, or it's just so intimidating to them that they're afraid. I want to be able to show you, you can do it. I can do it. I started my Microlocs myself, and if I can do it, so can you. It's so much information out here on YouTube University, y'all. If you really want to get something done nowadays, there is really not much getting in your way. So I am here to be one of those sources that are here to inspire you or even uplift you if you're already in your Microloc journey. I also don't even mind being a person that is showing other people who don't have the same ethnicity as me what type of styles that we are able to do with our hair, because y'all would be surprised the comments that I get from people who don't look like me, and they are just fascinated that we take this amount of time to style our hair and the techniques we use and things of that sort. And I just love the fact that they love to watch the process too. I really do appreciate each and every person that takes the time to watch any of my content, because you don't have to be here. So I definitely am glad that you choose to spend your time supporting me by watching, hitting that like button, and commenting all the things that people do, sharing my content. I appreciate all the love and support. I really do, from everybody. So I'm gonna keep going here, y'all. Since we started this video, we are seeing some progress in how far I've got taking it step by step, interlocking these locks. And this is why I was saying, take it a row at a time, y'all, because before you know it, you'll be halfway done, you'll be at a quarter way done, or whatever the case may be. You just gotta take your time. Because I'm on another row, let's start the interlocking process again. East, north, east, south, east, north, east, struggle bus, south. And that's it, y'all. Don't fight it. Don't force that last rotation. Tuck that hair in and keep it moving. It's just that simple, y'all. I'm here to motivate y'all, get you through the interlocking process, and show you how it's done. So now I'm going to just continue interlocking my hair as I've been doing this whole time. This is going to have to be a two-part video, y'all, because I want to be able to give y'all the full experience of what it really takes to maintain my Microlocs, even though I already have the back done. But that's neither here nor there, because I just frankly don't have enough storage space on my device to record all of that. But you get the gist. You can see best from the front anyway. If you're still trying to catch on to how to do the 3-point rotation, just count with me and just keep looking at how I'm doing it throughout the rest of my interlocking process. I'm going to repeat it over and over and over. If it helps you to count. If it helps you to say east, north, east, south, do that. However it is you need to remember it. If you're trying to learn something and you have to repeat it over and over, y'all just write this stuff down. It's real easy. You don't even have to do this with the 3-point rotation. If you're doing a 2-point rotation or you're doing a 4-point rotation, if you're struggling to figure out which direction to go, write it down so you can remember it best, and keep doing it over and over, because practice really does make perfect, and eventually it will become muscle memory. And we just gonna keep pushing through, y'all. When I'm finished, it's gonna look so nice. It's gonna look so neat. And it's going to look like I put a lot of pride, time, and energy into taking care of my locks. And this is the true self-care, y'all. So just keep watching the video until I'm all the way down to the end, so you can see what the end product looks like. Here you see me interlocking my very last microloc until I take my break, y'all, and it is well needed. Throughout this interlocking process, this session, I'll call it part one, and this is just part one of what I'm actually recording. Y'all, my hands is tired, I'm hungry, and I definitely am ready to take a little break to rest my hands. But let's take a look at what my locks are looking like. Now, this is just this side. I'm going to have to do a part two because, as you can see, I still got half of my head still not retied in this little bun area. But what I did so far is looking so nice. It's nice and crispy. Look at them lines. You can see my grid. You can see my scalp. After 2 months of not doing my hair and finally almost being done, it's kind of like a sigh of relief because I know I only got to do my hair again 2 months from now, and that is a total relief. So I'm excited. I just got a little bit more to go. I just got to see it through and make it to the home stretch. Y'all, leave me a comment down below if you know how that feels. We all want to get to that home stretch. You know, the home stretch where you finish up your locks and then you ain't got to touch it for a minute. I'm trying to get there, y'all. I'm going to get there soon. But stay tuned for part two of this Microloc retie video. And until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to see y'all in a sec for the part two.